Hello, 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 my beautiful, beautiful people. I am so excited today. So guys, I have to tell you, I was not a child who grew up and who was exposed to the arts, right? The arts that I knew was drawing in my coloring book. But when I went to my very first Broadway show, I don't know what I expected. I don't think I necessarily expected to like it as much as I did. And then once I saw Lion King on Broadway, whoa, I was just amazed. It was the costumes, the music, the choreography, every single thing. I was just like completely enamored with the show. So as you can see, I am excited, and I am excited because today's guest is a cast member of The Lion King and the national tour. It is back, okay? So stay tuned because I'm so excited to interview him. I'll be right back with Keith Bennett right after this break. See you in just a second.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Oh boy. I'm going old school on his butt.
Let's play a game. I'm a savage.
Come on.
Whoa.
Hey, anyway, I let him still attached. Ooh, everybody right, but you
I got it.
Ooh,
She got me.
classy, bougie, ratchet.
Granny's out here having a martini at halftime.
Haters gonna hate.
I'm a
Space
savage.
Jam,
Yeah.
July 16th.
Welcome back, everyone. Did anybody besides me get a chance to see Lion King on Broadway when it was here in Houston? I hope you guys did, because today I have a very special guest. He is a cast member of The Lion King, Mr. Keith Bennett. Thank you for joining me.
Glad to be here.
I just want to bust out singing right now, and I
Come
cannot
on,
sing.
Do your thing.
You will be highly disappointed if I started singing. Let's talk about that. That just sounds so exciting. Like, how did this happen for you?
Well, actually, I was doing a show called Ragtime. It was making its American premiere. We were at the Schubert Theater in Los Angeles. And I have to be honest, I saw the Tony Awards that year, and I saw the opening of The Lion King. I saw the elephant coming down the aisle. And I said, that's where I need to be. So an audition came up. They flew me out to New York. They were at the New Amsterdam Theater. Flew me out to New York, auditioned for it, got it, and that was it. I did it 98 through 2000.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and then took like a 10-year hiatus. Was basically down in Florida, doing real estate, being a father, husband. And it came up again, that audition. They were opening up the Las Vegas company. And, I was like, I need to make some good money, and I need to get back into that, because I had been gone from that life, that theatrical.
For 10 years, right?
Yeah, for 10 years. And, in that 10 years, you in fatherhood, you're aging and everything. They had a call down in Florida. And they even said in the call that they're looking, new, fresh, young talent. Well, I guess I was new again because I had left, but fresh and young, I wasn't fresh and young. So, went to the audition and met the new producers and the new worldwide show director. They said, "Listen, well, we're gonna fly you to New York to audition." And that was nerve-wracking because I had, like I said, I had been away from that whole environment for such a long period of time. So, it was pretty tough. I remember that morning driving to the airport. We got a flat tire.
Oh, wow.
Flat tire. I was like, well, this is not going to work. And a cop came up, pulled up, a big cop. He gets out the car and he helps me fix my flat tire.
Nice. Okay.
Gets me to the airport, and I thought I was going to be late for my flight. Everything was going wrong that morning. They held the plane for me. Got me on the flight, got up to New York. They had a limo service take me to the audition. And I have to be honest, it was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I had been through, because like I said, being away for that long period of time, and they were kids, younger kids, all these new kids, new kids on the block. It was everywhere, and everyone wanted to do the show in Vegas. It was the new Lion King opening up in Vegas. So I just remember, talk about focus. When I got there, I couldn't be around anyone. We were all sitting around.
Focus to stay by yourself.
Yeah,
Solitude.
I had to. I just kept going over, what it was like when I did the show before.
That's what I want to ask you. So what was the difference between auditioning back in '98 and then coming back 10 years later? Was there a difference in auditions?
A very big difference. I was younger in '98, and I didn't put as much pressure on me back in '98 when I auditioned. Because back in '98, I had no kids. I wasn't married. It was just me. And basically, I have to be, when you're young, I was younger then, a little arrogant, but humility sets in after a while. Having kids and being humble, that changed me a lot. Being down there in Florida. So the second time I was auditioning, it was more of like it was necessary, and it was like a bit more taxing. It's like, okay, you're not younger like you were before, but the thing is, I still had that strict values that I had as I was, when I was growing up. Things are different, now, but when I was growing up, it was strict when I was studying.
I bet the appreciation the second time around, the gratitude was probably like, and versus the arrogance, right?
Yep.
Like, ooh, I did it, I got it, and you did it.
And
right?
here's the truth: I needed it. I'll be honest with everyone. I needed it at that time because when you get older, you have a family. We had a house. And expenses, but at the same time, it's like how do I get back into this game again that I used to be in? I've been gone for a long time. Like you said, you're dealing with new kids, but I just remember all I did, I just kept working, thinking about the material, and I noticed everyone, when I went into audition, I just looked around the room. Everyone, they were just engaged in conversation, talking and everything.
Not you.
Not me. I went to a studio, and I remember all I kept doing, I was relentless, going over the song, going over the script. And I said to myself, although I knew the show before, I said, I don't want to go in there holding the script. I don't want anything to...
you were laser focused.
To get in the way. Yeah. I'm like, I want my instrument to totally be open, when I go in there and audition. And and I didn't know if I was going to get the job.
Tell me this, Keith. How did you get into dance? I see that you went to the Dance Theater of Harlem, but what first intrigued you? Were you a young child, teenager?
Well, when I was a kid, my aunt and my cousin, rest both of them, took me to my first audition. It was this kid named Robert Ferguson. He gave me like an application to fill out for a summer study program out at Tulsa State University, and they were taking kids from the inner city to go and study at this university. You had all these doctors, of theater and all this stuff. So that's where I went. I ended up out at Tulsa State University, and I was studying pantomime, learning about the Greek
How old
plays.
Were you around this time?
I was around 13 years old.
Okay.
So that sparked my interest in learning these plays, because a lot of this stuff I didn't know. So that began my journey into this. And I had this gentleman out there. He said, "Dude, why don't you get into the the dance program too?" So all right, I'm gonna get into that. And so that began my, my journey studying the acting, singing, and dancing. They call that now, which we were doing that back then, the triple threat.
What's it called now?
Same thing. That's
Okay.
you have to be. I think in order to make yourself marketable.
Gotcha. Need all
Especially
three.
in Broadway, yeah, you have to you get with those three things,
Okay.
that acting, that singing, and that dancing. So I was able to get that in that early training out at Tulsa State University.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how was it when you were in Harlem, when you were at the school? How was that?
Dance Theater Harlem. I have to tell you, I studied at some good schools, but the Dance Theater Harlem, like, if people should know who Arthur Mitchell is and what he did for the world of dance and exposing, African Americans to the classics. Because at one point we only saw people that didn't look like us doing ballet.
Right, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I remember, God rest his soul, he was from ALA. It was my man Donald Washington. He in Baltimore had this video footage, and I was watching Arthur Mitchell, I think it was Forces of Rhythm, Louis Johnson's choreography, and Holberg's Suite, and you just seeing all these black people just doing the classics and everything. So I finally got a chance to go there and study during that summer, and it was mind changing because of the discipline. Arthur Mitchell had a certain way that he wanted, us to present ourselves to the public.
This.
Yeah, the dignity and class. The classicism of what that is. So, my thing is, I was like, well, I'm going to use that for Broadway.
I love that. We have to go to break, but I love that because we do have class. And sometimes it takes an Arthur Mitchell to teach you to exude that class. Yeah. Stay right there.
Yep.
Keep that thought. Okay? Guys, we're going to be right back after this break. I'm all into this. I want to know more. Stay tuned. I'll see you in just a second.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. So Keith is really going in here. He's telling us his journey, and we're going to go dive deeper into blacks and the classics. Let's go there.
Yes.
Talk about that, because I know a lot of times we are selected for contemporary things.
Right.
Let's talk about classic. Let's just take me there.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. When I got to Dance Theater Harlem, that's all it was. You had this gentleman was basically my mentor. His name was Homer Bryant. And he was the one who he was transforming bodies and the spirit and the mind to get ready for these classics. Ooh. And that's when I began to it was open up to me that wow, look at what we're doing, all this classic work. And I think what Arthur Mitchell was building upon was getting young blacks exposed to not just the the classics in terms of the ballet, but even the way we walked and the way we talked.
I like that. Talk about transforming bodies. When you just said that, I just felt something. What did that look like?
Well, it was like the rigors of the stretching and how of what the class was, the class the ballet class itself. And we did what you call pas de deux, and we had men's class. And we also learned the terms and the definitions associated with ballet. And so during that time, I think that's when I really began to transform as an actor. Before that though, I had learned so much about blacks being in theater and like when they say Broadway, the Great White Way, but what a lot of people don't understand, they don't know that what our contributions were to in terms of theater and dance itself, and the classics. We had been doing that. I mean, they had great people. Sylvester Campbell from Baltimore. They had the Negro, ensemble ballet. They had ballet companies around for black people. Louis Johnson, all these great, ballet dancers. They had been around for years and years. It's just that we weren't exposed to it. We didn't get that exposure.
I love that. And so let's go somewhere, because now you're mentoring. And now you're providing that exposure at Future Stars of Houston. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what made you decide to do this.
Well, I had a group of friends. We came together. My friend Keith Thomas and Robbie Swift. Robbie Swift, he's from here in Houston. A friend approached me about you want to come out here to Houston, and I had been through Houston before. So you want to come out here to Houston and possibly do some teaching and some training, for little kids, over at Future Stars. And I was like, well, I have to be honest, I was stressing out about it because, when you're teaching young kids that young, you have to, spark their interest. You have to keep them totally engaged. And everything that we do in theater, which I'll go further over at Future Stars, there's an academic to what we do. It's so you see us jumping around, you see us dancing, but there's also lessons to that.
I like that.
Structured lessons, that I think these kids, will have to learn.
You know what? We have a clip of you teaching. I want to see.
Well,
Let's take a look.
All right.
He's tough. Ladies, all right, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, out and up, down. Yes.
Ooh, honey, look at you. Look at them.
I'm
trying
too
to keep
old
up,
for that.
Trying to keep up with you. Wow, I love that though.
I had 2 cups of coffee.
You've been doing this for years. There was not that coffee that did that for you.
Listen, these kids, I'm like, look, if you're gonna step into the arena with me, I will challenge you. So
I'm sure also you're that person.
Yeah, that was kind of like an impromptu thing, with those kids.
They challenged you?
Yes, I was teaching them excerpts from a chorus line, which I did on Broadway back in the days, back in '88. I had the experience of doing that. So that's what I was teaching them on that combination.
I love that.
I felt that the next day though. Let me just let you know.
You had to go soak, have an ice bath.
Yeah.
Tell me this though. How do you keep the little ones, like you said, the little ones, the 6, 7, 8-year-olds, right? Who the playground video games today sounds a lot more exciting than dancing. How do you keep them intrigued?
Well, number one, I refuse to talk down to these kids. I refuse to, I don't want to be condescending to them. But, I think right now, especially with kids, I am a little strict and hard. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's the school I brought, that I came up in. But I do believe you have to engage them and you have to challenge them. You know what I mean? So I think that's the most thing. You have to give them that information that will challenge them. And so when you put together combinations or, you put together scripts and stuff like that, I think that's the part that I was stressing out about. I'm like, okay, being that young, you have to keep these kids engaged with this. So you have to find something that sparks their interest. So what I'm learning now, when you give them something that's kind of challenging, and you keep pushing them, it will spark their interest to that achievement thing. And so that's what I talked to the kids yesterday about dreams. And, because I know we just got through this pandemic, and I see what's going on in the country right now.
I do a segment called Dream Out Loud on every single show.
Do you really?
I really do.
So let me tell you. So that's what I believe in. I told these kids, whatever you do, you have to. And I believe that. I'm 58, and I still dream.
I will never stop dreaming.
Right.
I will never stop.
Because I think that's the thing that engages the brain, and it gives you a task to perform. So that's what I told the kids. I said, listen. Write down, like, that thing that you dream about. Yeah, and then you don't share your dream with everyone.
Right.
That's your thing. That's your, that's in your, you put that in your subconscious. You keep that with you. You don't have to share it with everyone, but you make sure. I told the kids, I said, sometimes, you write in your diary or a journal. Because I think that, I really believe that is that one thing that can get you through the tough times. Because I know I was there. I didn't grow up, a rich kid. But I had that dream of wanting to be on Broadway.
I love that. You knew. What age did you know that you wanted to be on Broadway?
Like around 14.
Only a year in.
Yeah.
Because you're 13 is when you first saw.
Yep.
Wow.
So, I saw a show back in 1976. It was called Your Arms Too Short to Box with God.
Okay.
It was in New York at the Lyceum Theater. And so that was important to expose kids to the arts because, it changed me. So I saw that and I came back home. I was like, well, that's what I wanted to do. Then I saw more plays. So the plays that I saw Your Arms Too Short to Box with God, Ain't Misbehaving, Bubbler Brown Sugar.
Oh, I remember that one.
And and these are like, your black musicals. It was tearing up Broadway in the 70s. Well, it inspired me. Then later I began to get into, the Greek tragedies and all that. But like I told you before, when I saw someone that looked like me on stage, and I saw them dancing.
Representation is every single thing. Now I have to ask you this because I love mentoring too. So is there a child that you've mentored that let's say they challenged you.
Right.
They challenged you and then they just made it somewhere you're like, wow, I didn't think they were going to get this far. Any stories you can share?
Yeah. I have a friend and he's going to be teaching at Future Stars. This young man is incredible. His name is Keith Thomas. He goes by the name of Keith Lamel. He was actually in the Dance Theater Harlem Company.
Okay.
And he's from Baltimore. He went to Baltimore School for the Arts. And it is funny, like when you talk about perseverance, he was at the school. I had already begun working. And I had just gotten this show called Sophisticated Ladies. And he's a classically trained dancer. And he wanted to change. He wanted to get away from the ballet. He wanted to do what I was doing, which is Broadway and working downtown. So I took him in the studio and I taught him the tap combination. And he got the job. He got Sophisticated Ladies. We did the European tour, Keith Lamel and I. But what he did when he came back from the tour, he started working. Broadway, turnout Broadway show after Broadway show, Ragtime on Broadway, Jelly's Last Jam on Broadway, Black and Blue on Broadway. He just started turning these shows out. So, in that way, I thought I mentored him in his transition from the classical concert ballet world to what he became, performing on Broadway. Got his name around, everyone knows him, and he's doing a great job now. He's out there in Maryland teaching dance.
Love it.
Yeah, so.
Keith Thomas, I hope to meet you one day.
You'll meet him.
I hope so. I hope to see him. Now, we're out of time, but I want to
Yes.
say thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this with us, people who look like us, so that they know that this exists for us as well.
Future Stars.
Future Stars of Houston.
Yes.
I'm a future star.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. Just tuning in to Keith. I hope you guys are learning so much. We're going to be right back after this break.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I am so grateful that Mr. Keith Bennett came into the studio to share his knowledge, and I love what he's absolutely doing. It's just amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. You know, one thing that he talked about was he had a mentor, and now he's mentoring the young people of future stars of Houston. Guys, it is so important that, number one, if we're dreaming out loud, that we make sure that we study someone who has already obtained what we want, right? So if you want to be a doctor, what do? You have to do crazy internships, and you have to study underneath doctors, right? So I want to be, what do I want to be at this point in my life? Say you want to be in marketing, that's my background. You study someone who has successfully obtained what you want. And just like Keith Bennett is doing, make sure that you're always doing that. So whatever it is that you want to be, study someone who has been successful at it. I know a lot of times, I'm a coach, right? I really am a certified coach. A lot of times we go out and we hire these amazing coaches, but they're only amazing on paper. Make sure you do your research and that you interview them before you spend your hard-earned dollars to see what it is that they've exactly accomplished, because you need to know, and that's who you need to study. So if they have not obtained what it is that you want, that may not be the person for you to study in that area. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. I really did. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna see if I can sign up for the Future of the Stars, honey, so I can go and get some lessons in dance. As always, make sure that you're following us on Instagram and on Facebook at American Star TV. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye-bye.